Hey Stampers, welcome to Brandy's Cards. So today I've got a really fun card for you. It's really neat, it smells really good, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in just a moment. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to make. So I've gotten a lot of emails lately saying, hey, I'd like for you to show us how to emboss. Well, I haven't really done that yet, so I'm excited to explore some different ways of embossing. So today I've got a technique for you that you can do at home. It's super easy. All you need is some clear embossing powder and some Versamark, and it's pretty all right. I think you guys are going to really like it. So, but before I get into all of the details, this is the card that we're going to make today. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And of course, you can choose any colors that you want. This was just the colors that I chose. So, you know, change it up, switch it up. There's no right or wrong way. So remember that. You could do it how you would like it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that card back up here so you all can see that as I'm showing you how to do it. So it is here in my Getaway magazine if you guys are interested in that. There's actually 12 different projects in my Getaway magazine, but it is here on page 8. I think, yeah, there it is right there. It's on page 8, and I think I called it Sending Sweet Scents. Are you guys wondering yet what I'm up to? Yeah, wait till you see. So cool. I'm excited. Anyway, so this is in my Getaway magazine. So if you're interested, if you click on the Getaway magazine at brandyscards.com, then you can see how you can purchase one of those. Otherwise, I think I'm ready to get started. Okay. So the stamp sets that we're going to use here today are Daydream Medallions, a very pretty set. Really like this set. It's in our big catalog. And also World Treasures. If you guys haven't seen this stamp set, I really like it. And one of the main reasons that I really liked it is because I have a really dear friend of mine named Kelly. And it says, one who finds a faithful friend finds a treasure. And I just think that is so true, right? So I just had to have that set, not only for the super cute peacock, but for that greeting. So let's get started. I have Marina Mist. I also have Island Indigo and some crushed curry. I've mounted my stamps to get started. Now, don't worry, you're not going to see the sizes nor the dimensions here in this video. All you have to do is when we're done, you can go to brandyscards.com and in the search bar at the very top, type in there World Treasures, or you can type in there Daydream Medallions. You could type in there Pinehurst Getaway, and all of those projects will come up, and this project should come right to the top. Okay? And you can do that for any of my videos. If you're watching a video and maybe it's the coffee card, just go to the search bar and type in the word coffee, and that card should come up if I've done a good job. Okay? So here we go. We've got the big medallion, and I'm going to go ahead and just ink that up real quick. And you know, I could have cut this short and had this prepared, but you know, I think there's value in showing you, in not always cutting corners, and showing you exactly how I did this. So I am going to just show you real quick. We're just going to stamp straight down, straight up. And while we're stamping, yeah, I know, look at my hand. Yeah, I kind of fell in the stamp pad earlier today. Sorry, but you know, if you don't get messy when you're crafting, it's just no fun. One thing is I can't tell my husband that I wasn't crafting all day because he'd be like, yeah, right. You're covered in ink, you know, it's all good. So I just inked this smaller one up in crushed curry, which is a fabulous color. And just to make it easier, well, you know, I think I'm just going to go ahead and set this on there just like that. That'll work great. So I have my floral framelits. Love these things. They're fantastic. I also have a magnetic platform. So that works really well. So you're going to set your platform down. I've had some questions about the plastic acrylic pads. Yes, you want to, you know, I find it's best to have a set of pads for your magnetic platform to keep them flat, and then of course have a separate set for your Biggs dies. It just, I don't know, it just seems to work better. So I'm just kind of centering my flower in my big framelits. And then once I do that, let's see here, I'm going to turn this. So once I center that, then I'm going to go ahead and center the small one as well. And let's get that on there. Give me 2 seconds. This sometimes just takes a minute, you know, because you don't want it cattywamped. And that happens. And the biggest thing is you just have to be careful when you put your top piece down. so that nothing moves on you. And thank goodness for the magnetic platform. I'm not sure what we ever did before that. So I'm just cranking it through. My husband always says, oh, it sounds like bones are cracking. It does, but they're not. So, all right. So I'm going to take this off here. Whoa, there we go. There you go. So I've got my big flower and I have my little yellow flower. So we're doing good. I'm just going to set those aside here, and I've got the scrap. All right, so that's what I have right now. So now we're going to move into the fun part. You guys want to do some embossing? Yeah? All right, let's do it. Let's go for it. So I'm going to pull up some scrap paper, and I have a piece of crushed curry cardstock. Again, you can use any color cardstock that you want. I have Versamark here. Love Versamark. Mine is well loved, as you can see. It is full of some crud, but and it starts out white when you get it. So do you guys think I've used this a bit? The good thing is you can buy refill. It's fairly inexpensive and it lasts forever. You just squeeze it on there and it gets all goopy again and you're good to go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to just push my Versamark pad all around my crushed curry. And I want to cover the entire thing. So when you guys do this, you'll notice that your the Versamark is leaving kind of a sticky residue on there. So you could use it to stamp on the paper, but instead we're going to use it to adhere our embossing powder. Okay, so I've just inked up the entire thing in Versamark. So here I have got a bin that I have got, I have Stampin' Up! Clear embossing powder in here. And I'm just going to kind of tap that off, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Really easy, nothing too crazy. I'm going to set that down. I do recommend getting like a poker tool or pair of scissors or potentially just something that you can hold this down so you don't burn your fingers. This is the new Stampin' Up! Heat tool. It is awesome. So I'm going to hold this down with my scissors, and I recommend starting at the corner. So you're going to start at the corner, and you guys can already see it's melting and it's awesome. So it's going to turn it kind of a shiny, like a brighter yellow, and you can just kind of follow the melt, I guess. You don't want to go like this back and forth because you want it all to melt evenly, and it doesn't take very long. So just kind of be patient. I love to kind of just watch it melt as it goes. And so then as soon as we're done doing that, then we're going to add some fun texture to it. But you want to make sure that it's completely melted before you do that. So I'm just kind of going back through here, and I'm almost done. I'm coming closer to my scissors. There we go. And see, right about here, you can pull your poker tool or your scissors up because it's pretty hot. And it's typically not going to go anywhere at this point. So I'm just for good measure kind of went back over it. So we're going to kind of let it cool down here for just a second. You would think that it would be sticky or too hot to touch, but it's really not. But do you guys see how shiny that is? It's really pretty. So this is the back of the cardstock, which is a great color, but it's kind of dull, right? And then you flip it over and then you have this fabulous shine. Now this could be your background and you could use this for your card, but we're going to take it a step further. I have my Big Shots, and so I'm going to pull up my multi-purpose platform, and I'm going to turn it to tab 1, and I've got my plates here. I've also picked up my square lattice. So now we have embossed with embossing powder. Now let's dry emboss and let's add a texture to this. All right. So now the trick to this is, I like both sides of this embossing folder, but if you have an embossing folder that there is a particular shape that you want pushed out, just make sure that you have it on the right side so that the indentation is on the side that you would like. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my embossing folder. There's no big deal, just kind of stick it in there. This one, again, I like both sides. I'm going to run it through the Big Shots and wait till you see how fabulous this looks. It takes it to a whole new level. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so let me just set this out of the way real quick. I have a lot of things in front of me, so there we go. Let's open it up, and here we go. Do you guys see that? Oh my gosh, that is so cool, right? Don't you think that is cool? It's shiny, it's got a fabulous texture, And it just totally took that paper from kind of really pretty and dull to like, wow, really quick. So I love that. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside. Now what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna go on to what smells so good. So you guys know that I like to have fun and I like to kind of, you know, switch it up a little bit, think outside of the box maybe. So I thought, what about some Glade air fresheners? You guys ever thought about crafting with Glade air fresheners? Yeah, well, I hadn't. But then I was walking through the grocery store and I saw those hanging there and I thought, well, you know, they're probably paper too. And well, how cool would that be if somebody opened my card and it smelled like really, really good? So, well, that was kind of my thinking. So I went ahead and I bought myself some Glade air fresheners and I decided to come home and craft with them. And one of my girlfriends came over to help me cut everything and she was like, wow, it smells really good in here. And I'm like, yeah, I've just made me some Glade air fresheners smell good cards. It's pretty cool. All right, so now what I'm gonna pull in, these are the circle number 2 dies for Stampin' Up. And I'm gonna just grab my catalog and make sure. They're called the circle number 2 original dies. You can find them on page 192 of your big annual catalog. And speaking of catalog, if you don't have a catalog and you're interested in one, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to earn your business. The only thing that I ask is if you have a current demonstrator that you please ask your demonstrator. Otherwise, just let me know and I'd be more than happy to drop one of those in the mail to you. All right, so we've got our circle number 2 die. And so what I'm gonna do here is this bigger one is pretty much the size of our largest punch, which I believe is 2.5. I'm just gonna look just to be sure. Yes, it's 2.5 in diameter. This one here is, it's in between our largest circle punch and I think the 1 3/4 punch. So this one's kind of like in between and I thought it fit perfect on our flower. So now what I'm gonna do is basically I want my Glade clean linen, I want that to kind of be in the center. And how do I know where the center is? Well, I really don't, quite honestly. But, you know, I'm just gonna eye it and I'm just gonna do the best I can. You know, I've done these a few times. I kind of have a little bit of an idea where the center is, but not really, but sort of. You guys are like, now that is just not giving me a whole lot. No, if you try this, it's not too bad. It does take 1 or 2 times to get it right, but it's not that big a deal. And I'm gonna show you, and I know a couple of you guys are thinking, well, gosh, if you have the big Glade in the center, how are you gonna get rid of that? Well, you know, in crafting, you just stick something on top of it, right? So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna set that down. And so here we go. We're gonna take this off our die and there we have it. We have a circle. Very cool. So I'm gonna set this over here to the side. I'm gonna set that right over here. And now what I recommend is you're gonna wanna take a Stampin' Sponge and go for some Marina Mist. Now the only reason that I'm using the Marina Mist is because I want, you know, right now the edges are white of the air freshener. So I just kind of want to add a little bit of color to that so that maybe it doesn't look so white, I suppose. So I'm just kind of flicking the edges, and I also like it because it adds a little bit of depth. Now you will find that it does take a little bit for the ink to dry. So as I was preparing my sample card, I think that's also where I got some ink on my hands. So just beware, you may walk away from this project a little colorful, but that's okay. It means you had fun, right? And you can even kind of, you know, dab on it as well. There's no right or wrong way to do it, for sure. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set that aside and kind of let that dry for a second. Now I'm gonna pull in my World Treasure stamp set. I've already mounted the greeting, and really it's pretty easy. All I'm gonna do is just stamp it twice. So I'm gonna stamp it once in Island Indigo, and then I'm gonna clean it off. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna stamp it in Crushed Curry. So we're gonna clean it off on our Stampin' Scrub. We've got a wet side and a dry side, so it's pretty easy, pretty cut and dry. Now, why did I stamp it in 2 different colors? Well, the reason that I did that is because what if you don't have the markers to hand color it? Because, you know, you could take the 2 different colored markers and you could hand color it. Well, I didn't have that available. So what I thought was, I'll just go ahead And I wanted the yellow frame because I just made a blue, the blue circle. So I wanted a yellow frame, so I am going to cut along the edges of the yellow frame. But I wanted the blue to be inside. So then I decided, well, I'll just cut the inside of the blue frame. So you just cut the blue frame off and then you just stick it, the blue lettering, in the yellow. It worked perfectly. So speaking of that, has anybody noticed that I have a flower instead of a circle on this card up here? Yeah, I bet you guys have, haven't you? Well, during my annual getaway, the Stampin' Up! Flower Folds die was still available. And so that's actually what it is it's actually the Flower Folds die that I used originally. But you know what? Stampin' Up! Has so many great dies and so many great flowers and circles and different things that I thought it might be fun just to go ahead and show you a different way in case you wanted to make this card. So I didn't worry too much about it. I just found some other stuff and made it do. All right, so I think we have all of our stuff cut out. I think everything is ready to go. It's time to assemble our card. Gosh, that sounded like a cooking show, right? We've got all of our ingredients and we're ready to go. So let's fold our paper in half. We've got Whisper White. Sizes and dimensions will be on Brandy's card, so don't worry about that. I have some Tombow glue. We're gonna go ahead and glue down our embossed crushed curry. We're gonna just glue that right down. Now I did want to break up the background, so you'll notice on my sample card there is a white layer across the back. All that is I think it's 1 1/4 by 5 1/2, but again I will have the exact dimension for you on Brandy's cards. You could use glue, but for time's sake I'm just going to go ahead and use mini glue dots, and I'm just going to stick that right across the back here. Next, you're going to pull up one of your medallions, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and put some Tombow glue back here. You know, because your air freshener has already got some lift to it, it's kind of like a foam dot itself. You don't want your card too tall because, well, then it just wouldn't be good for the envelope. So I would say I would just glue that straight down. Now, speaking of that, take a look here. There was a lot of conversation about, do you like the flower off center or do you like the point straight up? You know, I found that it just looks more eye-pleasing with the point straight up, but it's entirely up to you. So I would play with it before you glue it down. Now the next thing, if you have Stampin' Dimensionals, I would absolutely get those and put a layer of Stampin' Dimensionals in here. But I kind of forgot those, and you know what? I am not worried about it. It's okay, and nobody knows that Stampin' Dimensionals are supposed to be in between there. So I'm just going to stick it down here anyway, because I think it'll look great. And so we're going to stick that down. Then I would use some Tombow for the back of my Glade air freshener. And I'm going to stick that right here in the center, like such. Okay. And now what you've got here is you have your yellow greeting. So we're going to probably go mini glue dots on that. Let's grab some mini glue dots, and we're going to stick our greeting right here in the center. And do you see that? This greeting is actually covering the Glade air freshener sign. So nobody even knows that it's an air freshener. So they could take it out and be like, wow, this smells so good. What is that? Yeah, and you're like, tricky. Pretty cool. All right, so now I've got the blue words. I'm going to stick these right here in the center in my frame. Perfect. And now I'm going to pull in some Stampin' Jewel rhinestones just for a little embellishment. Certainly don't have to use any rhinestones, but I did like the little bit of embellishment that it added. So I'm going to put that right there. And then I've got one more to put right here on the bottom. This one's fighting with me a little bit there. There we go. All right, that's it. This is my Sweet Scent card, and I used the medallions, the Daydream Medallion stamp set with an air freshener, a Glade air freshener in the center, and also the World Treasures stamp set. So I'm anxious to hear what you guys think. I would love if you would leave me a comment. The last video that I did, I sent a few cards out. It was really a lot of fun, and I know you guys enjoy getting them as well. So I would really appreciate if you leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you give this a try, you have to shoot me an email and let me know how it goes, okay? So I sure do appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you subscribing to Brandy's Cards, and I hope that you have a great crafting kind of day.